Your investigator, Karen Morfitt, is digging into a case of a Colorado woman accused of faking a psychology degree.
Shannon McShane used that degree to gain employment with 2 different state agencies. Now, as she approaches her next court hearing, we're asking how that was possible. Karen Morfitt spoke with a father whose concern for his own family prompted this larger investigation.
It was actually a few days before Valentine's Day.
Having to fight for custody of his children was nightmare enough for Chad Cullum.
It was really scary.
Made worse by the family investigator working on his case.
I had no way of knowing if anybody would hear me.
Shannon McShane was responsible for evaluating Cullum and his ex-wife and then recommending custody. He says from the beginning something felt off. He filed a complaint with Colorado's Department of Regulatory Agencies, or DORA. That agency gave him McShane's credentials, including the PhD she claimed to have received from a university in London. But the transcripts didn't check out, and he went directly to that university.
And they said, yeah, we don't have, she put letter grades on there for her doctorate. It's like, we don't do letter grades for a doctorate. We don't have these programs the way that she did it. So that was the evidence I had.
McShane had used that PhD to become a licensed psychologist and addiction counselor in the state of Colorado. It was the key to having her name added to a statewide court roster of qualified family investigators and led to jobs with Colorado's Department of Corrections and Department of Human Services, where she worked at the state mental health hospital for 5 years.
It's absolutely heartbreaking that someone can get a doctorate, that someone can get their license, falsify their credentials, get into a powerful position with the court.
We asked Dora about their vetting process when someone applies for a professional license. In a statement, a spokesperson says if someone is educated in the U.S., the division verifies all information with U.S. institutions. In this case, Ms. McShane was educated outside of the United States. When this is the case, all documents go through a third-party equivalency review, which deemed them to be substantially equivalent to training at a U.S. accredited institution. We took that question to both of the state departments that hired McShane. They only confirm applicants have a state license from DORA. A spokesperson for DOC added, "I can confirm that we verified her credentials in accordance with this process." Department of Human Services says the hospital completed a primary source verification, which is where the hospital and the Department of Regulatory Agency confirm licensure, as opposed to relying on the candidate providing a copy. Eventually, Colorado's Attorney General launched an investigation, which ended in a 15-count criminal indictment, with charges including forgery and attempting to influence a public official.
She impacted a lot of people.
While Cullum says he'll be watching the criminal case closely, his concern is with other families. He's now warning them to do their research.
I'm sure there are people out there who are permanently affected by this who don't have any idea what to do.
When we asked about the patients at the state mental health hospital, a spokesperson says they immediately assigned qualified professionals to evaluate the care provided to any patient who interacted with McShane. After review, it was determined there were no negative impacts to those patients. Dora says there have been no immediate internal process changes. However, the division is continuing to examine how it can better ensure the validity of documents approved by outside entities. McShane did not respond to a request for comment and will be in court in early April. Karen Morfitt, covering Colorado First.
And Karen is your reporter, your investigator, and your neighbor in Jefferson County. She is one of your reporters committed to covering Colorado First all across our state. If you have an issue you want your reporter to dig into, just visit our website to send us an email.